Morning, welcome back to Breakfast Television. Thanks for starting your day with us. Our buddy Drew Kozub today is looking at the vegetable city. It's the cornucopia, almost literally, of vegetables. We're checking out Peak of the Market this morning. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning, you two. I just got out of the cooler here at Peak of the Market where they're storing some of the vegetables right now because I'm learning a little bit about the process of how we can get fresh local vegetables at this time of year, and it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it all hinges on keeping them at the perfect temperature, right?
And that's just it. It is the perfect temperature for that exact vegetable. Each vegetable has like a certain point where it goes into hibernation almost and stops developing. So once it's harvested, they get it locked in at that perfect temperature, and then they can store it for very long lengths of time. Like a potato can stay good in storage for a year if it's monitored and kept under the perfect conditions. So farmers have that storage facility on their locations, and then they send it here to Peak of the Market, where it gets distributed to grocery stores so that we can get it without having any hassles or even thinking about all the work that went into it.
Okay, for the record, that thing in the pantry growing eyes isn't good a year from now.
No. Yeah, well, like that one may not be kept under optimum temperatures, but they have the science of precision to do it just right here. And I want to introduce you again to Larry. First of all, Larry, thanks for having us down here, showing us around. You and Mark have had everything great and set up for us today. So we were talking a little bit about potatoes because there's a lot to say about those ones, and potatoes are pretty important to Peak of the Market, correct?
It's 50% of our sales, so it's a huge crop for us. Did you know that Manitoba grows more red potatoes than any place else in Canada?
No kidding.
It's by far our biggest crop, and Manitobans eat 80% red potatoes, or if you go to Ontario, it's about 5% they eat red potatoes. So
really?
That's kind of what we do.
Interesting. So that must be a good sustenance factor for us. That's interesting. I would have thought, like, I don't know, PEI or something, where they had the red soil would be good for red potatoes. That's not...
They grow red potatoes, but nowhere near as much.
Okay, so we've got the best ones then?
Right here, yeah.
Okay, so think about that next time you're at the grocery store. Next time you're at the grocery store, check very carefully for the tag that is on your Peak of the Market produce. Now, I don't know if this is going to show up well on camera, but it actually shows some information on there. There's a code, and it'll actually say who the person who packed the vegetables is, correct?
That's right. The machine operator here is Sal. You can't probably read it. It's got our logo on it as well, and a 6-digit number. And that number tells us the grower, the field it came from, all the records associated for it. So should we ever have a food safety problem, so far we haven't, hopefully it'll stay that way, we can actually track it back and right back to the field. And we do mock recalls every month to ensure the system works. But also if a consumer has a problem, we have a toll-free number on all our bags. They can call us, give us that number, and we can check our quality control and see if something went wrong.
Great, and it's fun. Next time you're at the store, see if you can find out one of Sal's bags. There's also Doug and everyone else, so they're all good stuff. But remember that you heard about Sal's on Breakfast Television. Now, you guys have so many different types of vegetables. We got a great sampling of some of the local things that are available here right now. Let's talk, if we can, about the sorts of things that we can find local right now that are fresh and delicious.
Well, as we saw earlier, cooking onions are available. We have red potatoes and the russet potatoes and yellow flesh potatoes, beets, carrots, parsnips, organic onions as well. And a lot of our bags have these QR codes on them now, so you can take your smartphone and scan that QR code on our potatoes or onions or many of our packs, and that'll give you 100 recipes for that crop.
What?
Yep, just you scan it, 100 recipes will come up, the 100 most popular recipes you have, and for onions or potatoes, depending on what you're buying.
That is awesome. So there's a cookbook right on the tag?
That's right. You could write in your store, you can scan it, and you can see what you need.
Okay, that is really, really cool. I'm going to have to try this out because now I'll get some great onion recipes for at-home cooking.
Because we know you love onions.
I am an enthusiast and appreciate people who appreciate onions. Let's talk for a minute, if we can, about the really difficult crops, because you guys have some great variety here, but one in particular has a very short growing season and very labor intensive that we just take for granted.
Well, asparagus, right? We all know where asparagus is only a 7-week crop from beginning to end, first harvest to end. But it's a crop that you have to plant. It comes up annually, but it's a crop you plant about 5 to 7 years before you get your first crop off it.
5 to 7 years before the asparagus can start being harvested?
That's right. And then at about 35 years, you have to start again, but it does grow for that period of time. But asparagus can be this far out of the ground in the morning, and on a real warm day, it can grow to full size. So it's actually cut off one by one. It's really labor intensive.
Wow. So next time you pick up your Peak of the Market asparagus, which will be ready in a couple of weeks?
May, June. We got to wait for some snow to go.
All right, so look for those and appreciate the work that went into them. If you want more information about Peak of the Market or the great stuff that you can find here, go to our website at breakfasttelevision.ca. Take a quick break here on BT. For more to come this morning on City.